I love you with my heart, with my soul, with every fiber of my entire being. How are you feeling right now, beautiful soul? So, today's message is about a certain element of energy healing. When it comes to healing other humans, yourself, whoever it is that you're going to be going to work on and facilitating the healing of, there are darker and lighter aspects of reality. There are what I would refer to as shadow parasites. If you look at parasites, normal parasites in human bodies or in insects, fish, animals, what parasites do is they weave and bond themselves into the body of the sentient being that they decide to take refuge inside of, and they slowly affect the brain, the consciousness, the way that this sentient being behaves. You look at caterpillars, right? There's these parasites in the jungle that get into caterpillars and they make the caterpillars climb to the top of the tallest trees. And when the caterpillars get to the top of the tallest trees, they explode, and all of the juice and the gunk from the caterpillars goes all over the leaves down below, and then other caterpillars come along and eat it. Then those parasites spread into those caterpillars, then they all climb to the top of the tallest trees, they all explode, and so on and so on, and the parasites expand. There's parasites that go into fish and eat the fish's tongue, and they take over the organism, and the fish's brain becomes controlled by the parasites. So the fish is moving and swimming through the water, but really the consciousness of the fish is no longer there anymore. There are parasites that do the same thing to humans. They get into the human being's energy fields. They get inside the human being's body. They're great shapeshifters. Sometimes they can hide in cells, these huge beings. They can change their frequency, their vibration. They can change their color. They can go translucent, all sorts. You get all sorts of different parasites. Sometimes they look like little kind of snakes and lizard, reptilian-y type beings, all sorts, okay? Now, most people that are into healing, most healers, facilitators of healing, as I prefer to say, because we never actually really heal another human. All we do is facilitate the healing and create an environment so the other human can self-heal. When humans have parasites inside of them, they often create addictions. You know, it's the parasite that's addicted to the porn, the drugs, the coke, the heroin, the weeds, the alcohol, whatever it is. Eventually, the human body also then becomes addicted to the chemicals from the drugs, from the porn, whatever it is, that are released inside the human being's brain when they're having the fix. Now, a lot of healers will sweep this stuff under the carpet. Either they are not trained in it, so they poo-poo it. They're like, nah, just pretend it doesn't exist. Some people are scared of it, so they run from it, again, pretending it doesn't exist, or they won't even engage in that healing, or they'll go into the healing with the human being, but they'll work on something else and forget about all that stuff. Some people completely deny it. Whatever the reason, 90% of healers on this planet, or facilitators of healing, don't deal with this stuff. And it's either through lack of training or complete and utter fear. If you bring it down into these two brackets, lack of training, complete and utter fear. Now, when you go in to work on a human being that has these parasites, it's really important that you stay in love. You want to keep your heart open, you want to stay focused and calm, and you want to be in a high vibration. These beings don't like that stuff. And if you tip into fear, because they will try and tip you into fear, because they will project into your consciousness They will create things in the environment, make you think things, see things, feel things that aren't real, but they're projecting this technology into your space. And this can change your frequency if you start to believe it. And so they'll either turn you away from the healing, or they'll put you into fear, and they'll start to take control of your consciousness. If you start to laugh at this stuff, these beings haven't got a chance. Okay? When you go in to work on shadow parasites, and I call them shadow parasites because they behave just like parasites, but they're in the shadows, right? They're invisible to most human beings. But when your third eyesight is switched on, you can experience and see and feel these things in the space. But you've got to use intelligence. Otherwise, you're going to drop into fear. And if you use intelligence, you can control your mind, you can control your frequency, you control your heart, you control your consciousness. And you choose to be intelligent, stay in that high vibration, and then you go to work. And you start to remove these things from the other human being's body or from their energy field, and you dispose of them. Now, when you go in to work on these kind of shadow parasites, these kind of entities, beings, some of them don't even want to be inside another human being. They're fed up with it. They're controlled by a hierarchy, a hierarchical system. And if you take these beings out, these shadow parasites, and you take them back to whichever dimensional space they're supposed to go to, or back to source if it's a possibility, they're never going to return. But what will happen is the hierarchy, their bosses, the beings that have put them there, they will send in other parasites. So what you've got to do, and this is the most important part of this message, okay? Number one, you play from an intelligence mindset, from a love mindset, from a joy and a laughter and a high humor consciousness. And the next part of the equation is you make sure that you clue your clients up and you let them know what's just taken place. And the other beings may try and infiltrate their consciousness and recontract, because a parasite can't come into a human being or any other being without there being some kind of agreement. But this agreement happens on a very subtle, unconscious, subconscious level, where someone can be in fear and guilt or some kind of low vibrational frequency. And the shadow parasites are, we can help you, we can help you. So on a subtle subconscious level, the human being is like, please just get me out of this situation. They're being beaten by their husband, their wife, they've lost their job, they're in despair, they've got no money, whatever it is. Okay? They agree to it on some level. Now, when you've removed parasites from a human being, and these bosses of the parasites send in other beings to try and recontract with that food source, because at the end of the day, that's what the human being is. It's a food source. They're siphoning the energy, man. It's a game of energy. We're in a spiritual war, okay? Now, when they send in to try and recontract, they're going to place thoughts in the human being's consciousness. They're going to place feelings in the human being's body. The human being might even see things. They could even see something crawling under their arm, in their body. Doesn't mean it's there. That's just a projection technology. But if the human being goes, they're back, recontracted. Okay, this game is very subtle. So you have to explain to your clients, whoever you've just facilitated the healing of, they got to stay super aware. They've got to not engage in any alcohol, drugs, drink. I tell my clients to stay away from sugar, coffee, green tea, any kind of man-made foods, anything that's going to spike their blood sugars up or change their brain chemicals in any way, shape or form. Because once the sugar spike or the brain chemicals change up or down, that's when they're going to place those thoughts, because the vibration's shifting. They're changing from one state of consciousness to another. That's when they slip the thought in. That's when they slip the emotion in. That's when they place the projection in. And they catch them unawares. They're not 100% present because something else is taking place in their mind. So you've got to clue your clients up and let them know to be ultra aware. And if they do experience any of this stuff, laugh. Again, high humor. Or connect with the thought and emotion and say, listen, this isn't my thought. This isn't my emotion. I'm sending it right back to wherever it came from right now with love and light. And you command it out of your space with authority. Boom, it's gone. We are super powerful, and our choices are everything. Okay, when you make a choice and you back that choice up with a firm and focused energy, this vortex spirals through the space. You're unstoppable. But as soon as you tip into fear and you tip out of intelligence and into panic and worry and anxiety, you start to operate differently. You start to react instead of respond. You become unconscious instead of highly conscious and aware. You start to make mistakes. You start to mess things up. You start to change. And you become accessible for these beings, for these shadow parasites. This is good advice. Take it or leave it. It's not going to change my world, but it can change yours. Wherever you are on this planet, beautiful soul, I love you so much. Go out into this world and love your sisters and your brothers fiercely and ferociously. Hug them tightly and never, ever, ever be the first to let go. Remember to check out our website, starmagichealing.com. We have some of the best ascension tools on the planet. You can go there now and get 7 days free access to all of our meditations, light language transmissions, light codes, cosmic yoga videos, high vibrational nutrition, and so much more. All of our past masterclasses, they're all available, so go and check it out. And if you want to train to be a formidable healer and truly understand about shadow parasites and everything to do with healing, then get to starmagichealing.com, check us out, connect, reach out, happy to answer any questions. The team will work with you, get you involved. It will change your life in the most incredible way. One love, one heart, one human family. Peace out, beautiful soul.
You could make out there was a dent on this side of my face. And Jerry worked with me for maybe 2 minutes or, I don't know, 5. And I think after 15 minutes, someone said your face has changed. So I just touched the side of my face and I cannot feel the crack. I'm amazed. Wow. How is this even possible? I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.